Indiana for Coach's Corner on Wednesday night. And we're going to be coming to you tonight talking about the game from last week and talking about the hurricane and also talking about the upcoming games for the current week. So tonight we've got Coach Brian Gleason from Salem here tonight. How you doing, Coach?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good.
You didn't think too bad.
No, we had everyone fought the weather last week, and I'm glad that's gone and done. And it's kind of I think the more devastating hurricane than people originally thought, and did a lot of damage there in North Carolina and down south, and we got the brunt of it with a lot of rain, but luckily there was not a lot of damage, but just a lot of rain.
Right. Yeah. The damage that was done down in Tennessee, North Carolina, I tell you what, I really sent out prayers for those folks because my aunt, she lived down there and she was having problems getting a hold of her daughter and things. Finally, she got a hold of her, but she said there's no communication there at all. And I read a story where a guy actually hiked up 2,200 feet up a mountain to his parents' house to get to his parents, and because he had no communication with them. And I'm thinking, back in the day, you had ham radio, you had all these different ways of communicating. Now we have a cell phone. It's like when that goes down, you're done.
Yeah.
The ham radios, those guys are still in effect. So.
Right.
But if you could just send out a prayer for all those folks in North Carolina and for Tennessee, that'd be great. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start talking about some football because we finally got the week over with, and so we got Corden last week.
Yep.
For you guys, and so let's kind of go through that game, see what all happened.
Well, it was, obviously we had to play it on Saturday, just like about everybody did, and so everyone's adjusting your schedule and doing all that stuff, and it is what it is. And I thought our kids came out. We played one of our best football games since week one, and we lost 10-6, but we had our opportunities. Our defense played real well. We just couldn't. We got in the red zone a couple times and couldn't punch it in. But I was really impressed with our defense. Holden Corden, who has been scoring a lot of points. We held him to 10 points. We just got to get our offense going, and we had a lot of guys out too. So hopefully we get some of these guys back and healthy for the stretch run here in October.
Yeah. So when we look at that Corden team, were they? What did they run? Was it mainly were they running the ball? Did they pass the ball?
They're about 50-50. It rained a little bit, but the rain it didn't have much of an effect on the game. It really did not. It was wet, but it wasn't sloppy wet.
Yeah.
They've got a new field, so it wasn't muddy or anything. They got turf, so they've got some athletes. They were very much a pro football team. It was probably pretty much an evenly matched game. I thought we just came out on the short end, but they've got some good athletes, and they're doing a good job of getting that program built.
So I know that this was like the first game that Braxton Dean he was running back for the team. Hey, I listened to the radio all the way to North Davies, so it sounded like he did a really good job actually pulling the strings together last week.
Yeah, he did a good job stepping in for some injuries. He ran the ball hard, made some big plays. Noah Deaton, who's been a big play guy for us all year at the he's an undersized fullback. They did a good job, and Braxton was, told he's going to be playing running back, after some injuries, and he didn't bat an eye. He's and did a great job of running the football for us, and so did all of our guys. I thought, offensively we hurt ourselves a couple times with a penalty or two and a fumble, but I thought we did what we needed to do to win the game. We just couldn't. We just came up on the short end. I told the players at the end of the game, if there were 3 or 4 minutes left, maybe we would have a chance because we were really picking up some good momentum as the game went on.
Yeah. So this week, part of the county rivalry, got Eastern. So what are you expecting to see out of them this week?
Well, Eastern obviously is kind of the same boat as us. They've had a lot of injuries. Had to move some guys in positions. They're getting some guys back this week. They beat West Washington earlier in the year, but they're a completely different team than what they were week one. They're running a different offense now. They're back to the spread just because they had to. Their injury or their number issue. They're kind of forced to, and they're right now leading the county.
Yeah.
They're 1-0, and for the county championship,
Yep.
Beacon is 1-0.
Yep.
We haven't played a county game yet, and West Washington's 0-1. So, the county championship is still on the line for everybody. Last year we all split it, one and one.
Yeah.
And I think that's, obviously that's what West Washington's hoping for when they play us in a couple weeks. Yeah. And then Beacon's looking to win the county on Friday night. And so it's a cool thing. All of our programs right now are kind of rebuilding. Yeah. We're young and injuries and things like that. We're kind of hadn't been a great year for Washington County football this year. But
you said that correctly.
And a lot of young kids, new coaches, new programs, new styles, new things.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things going on, and hopefully we can battle this week. And Beacon beat us last year. And then obviously it was Coach Dean, and now Coach Dean's my boss.
Yeah.
So kind of an interesting thing there. This week, he's now back to with the Wslm Lions as our principal. So it's a kind of a neat thing for us. So it's looks like on paper looks like an evenly matched game.
Yeah, it does look like a really good game for you guys, and you guys are playing it at home, right?
It's at Easter.
It is at Easter. I was thinking that last year actually you played Easter, but because it's swaps every year,
right?
So
right.
Have you, as a coach, and I know you played, you've been at Jeffersonville, you've been at Floyd, you've been at
I was at Little Paoli, Floyd Central, Shelby. I've been everywhere.
So that being said, have you ever seen a rivalry like this? And it's not just Salem, West Washington. It's Salem, Eastern West Washington.
Yeah, it's a county rivalry.
It is a county rivalry.
Schools are all about the same size.
Yeah.
I think we're probably a little bit the biggest, but we're, Eastern's 2A, we're 2A, and then West Washington's 1A, so we're kind of all in the same boat. We kind of, I've seen different kind of rivalries. There's all different kinds. I was a part of the Jeffersonville-New Albany rivalry. I was part of the Clarksville-Providence rivalry. I was part of, just a lot of different kinds of rivalries. And this was interesting because it's kind of a three-team rivalry. Yeah. And, for bragging rights in the county,
right.
And like I said, all the schools were kind of in the same boat. We're kind of all evenly matched.
Yeah.
I really think that. And, last year, we all split the county. Everyone won one loss.
Yes. Yes.
And I think pretty much all the games came down to the wire.
Right.
I think that when we played Beacon last year, we had a field goal to try to win the game, and it got blocked at the end. And so it was all the games always come down to the end. So it's a good rivalry.
It's funny because I know that like some fans and some parents take these rivalries a little bit almost too far. But I can tell you this is what cracks me up. So after the very first week, East Washington, beat West Washington, and we went to Taco Bell after that.
Mm-hmm.
East Washington was there, West Washington was there, Salem was there, Scottsburg was there. So all these teams from around was a Salem, and they were all like cutting up, having a good time, And it's like, we as sometimes parents, take these rivalries to the limit and going, we got to understand these kids are still friends with all of them.
Right. In this day and age of social media and texting and all that stuff, they all know each other.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike, in our day, I wouldn't know the guys going to the other schools. Now, social media and school choice.
Yeah.
A lot of kids have changed schools and things like that. So you kind of, know them. It's kind of more of a, a rivalry in that sense. Say, hey, these are guys I grew up with.
Right.
We just didn't go to the same high school.
Yeah. I know in like the wrestling programs, it's funny because, we would go to these other schools and, you're competing against these wrestling programs and, the kids that are in the same weight class, they all become friends. They're wrestling, but they're all become friends. Right. It's like, you're not supposed to be friends with the guy you're trying to be, but that's honestly that's what I really like about with the way it is nowadays versus the way it was back then.
It's good sportsmanship,
it is.
And 99% of the athletes here, or 95%, whatever, are not going to go play college. Football football or basketball or whatever sport it is. It's, we're playing for fun and the education that the sport brings. And, we all understand that, but it's it makes for a more fun, interesting thing, especially in years where, our records aren't very good.
Right.
Like I tell our kids, I told our kids last Saturday after we lost that, county championships on the line for us.
Yeah.
Now we got something to play for.
Right.
Even though we're 1-5, bragging rights are still on the line.
Absolutely.
And it's, and we can still salvage some things in our season. And obviously Eastern can win,
right,
and clinch the county.
Right.
And, and then West Washington, still has a chance to beat us.
Right.
So it's there's still some things on the line, and that's what's good about these rivalries is that whether your record's 0-6 or 6-0,
right,
there's something to play for. There's something to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got so went over Corden, went over what was kind of how the game was, and Saturday night, that was so weird for me. It was you going to play on a Saturday night. It's like I wasted because I go to work on Friday.
Yeah.
Get off at 3 o'clock, and then I'm waiting around for the game.
Yeah.
It seemed like I had never waited around for a football game any longer. I did my entire life what I did Saturday.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch college. I was a nervous wreck until I finally get to North Davis, watch that game, and listening to Salem and listening to Brandon and Zach over there. They do a great job on calling the games. So that's what if you're not able to come to a game, get on the radio and get on the Facebook page and you can be able to listen to all these games. So, but we got Eastern this week, and good luck, Coach.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It's always good to play football on a Friday night.
Absolutely.
We all had to improvise and play on a Saturday, and it, it's over. But the thing that hurts you is that you're one step behind preparing the next week.
Yeah.
But every team's involved, so every team played on Saturday pretty much. So everybody was a day behind, and it just kind of throws every. I'm a guy of tradition and a guy of routine.
Right.
Throws
Exactly.
me out of my routine.
Oh yeah.
And it was Friday night. What do I do?
Yeah.
So we kind of took the night off and got ready Saturday. But it was interesting. So and you got to emphasize that's what happened.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Coach, for coming in, and I really appreciate you coming in and being first every week. That's awesome. And like you said, routine. I love it. I love the routine. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hoosier fans, it's a new era of Indiana football. Catch the action as head coach Kurt Signetti leads your Hoosiers in the Memorial Stadium on Saturday, September 28th against the Maryland Terrapins. Purchase your tickets today for all the remaining home games this fall by calling 812-855-4006 or by visiting IUHoosiers.com. Cheer on the Hoosiers to victory and help back to rock. Go IU.
After a joint surgery, injury, or illness, Meadowview and Salem Crossing are the best choices for helping you recover. Our Moving Forward Rehabilitation Program offers a full range of therapies. We're here to help you return home safely with the skills you need to live life on your own terms. Meadowview and Salem Crossing, two great options for your rehabilitation. To learn more, visit asccare.com or call 888-996-8272.
And we are back. Hey, we are back. We are live right here at McDonald's in Salem. And that was Coach Gleason. Had a great conversation about the Corden game, about this week going up against Eastern. And guess who's actually joining me right now? That's right, the man, the voice of the Eastern Musketeers. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, very good. Good. So let's talk about what happened last week.
It was an adaptation for everybody. It was interesting to see having to play on a Saturday at noon of all time.
Yeah.
Have to wake up about 8 o'clock in the morning. Those that are committed wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, prepare themselves, do some stretching out, get to the facility like 9 o'clock probably to leave for the game. They went at North Harrison. It was a loss for the Musketeers, a game by 14 points, 2 scores. It seems to be the new ritual for the Musketeers, losing games that they should win.
Yeah.
Because their opponent this weekend beat North Harrison the first game of the year.
Yeah.
They beat North Harrison the first game of the year. And they got to realize that it all comes down to it's a numbers game.
Right. Having
to beat teams that beat your foes, it's common foes.
Yeah.
And the Musketeers have not beat any of their common foes this season with any other opponents they have.
So looking at what look at the numbers. I was told that the Musketeers are started out with over 40 players, and now they're down to like 20 something. Is that about right? With injuries and just kids saying, okay, I can't do this, or
back in the summer they had about 60. They racked up about 60 people on the team, which is record numbers for that Musketeer squad.
Absolutely.
And then about fall workout time, the season about to kick off, 40 athletes. Where injuries plagued the team with 4 or 5 of them out these past couple of weeks, and then more of them just quit. They can't do it anymore. They exit the team without any real reason other than they just can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and that's kind of becoming the whole morale on the team right now. They're all down. They're on their heels on every position of the ball. Yeah. They're having no success, which leads to even lower confidence levels, and they just don't have any kind of luck when it comes to finding their way around the football game.
When you do start out with that many kids and you end up, losing kids or whatever the case may be, these kids need to understand that when they get out there on the field, hey, usually like 60 kids, how many of those have never played before? Probably 40?
Yeah, a good number. I've never played before. With such a small school, having 60 athletes on one team is absolutely crazy. And the vast majority of them have never even touched a football before.
And they didn't know what to expect.
Exactly. And then it comes down to it. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what they're doing. And they're out there expecting to be taught how to do things efficiently and effectively.
Right.
And in previous years, that has not been the case. But this year, they're looking for a new case, a new cause, and a new fact of the matter, but they just could not find that this season yet. And they just caused them to legs of the team.
Yeah. So let's talk about this week. We got a heck of a challenge this week. This week is because if you win this game, you've won the county championship.
Correct. It's the difference between being a champion.
Yeah.
Being the difference between a champion and losing it off of the month-year in a row. It's just it's been an issue for the Musketeers the past few seasons. They haven't won a county championship as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And they've always lost to West Washington since I was in first grade.
Yeah.
And now I'm a junior in college, so that says a lot. Yeah. They haven't beaten West Washington since. They haven't had a county championship since before then.
Yeah.
Which is a huge progression for the Musketeers this season. It's just if they can get it done. I think even Wslm beat North Harrison. Mm-hmm. Musketeers losing North Harrison.
Yes.
Now they can make the excuse. We put on a Saturday. We had a game canceled. No, they can't because North Harrison has the same exact situation.
Exactly.
And they came out and played football. And they came out and played their game and they won by 14 points. It's an outstanding win for them. It's just they have to take care of business this weekend when it really matters.
Do you think that North Harrison? Because I don't think North Harrison's really lost any players at this point, have they?
I don't think so.
I think they've put us in a full roster, and with them still having a full roster, and you guys have lost some key players within that squad. That's going to put kind of a hurting on you guys, especially for the last week what it was.
Correct. North Harrison hasn't lost any people this past few seasons. And injuries this season. They're 4-2 on the year right now. They've had a strong year, having wins over Scottsburg, Code Central, Charlestown, and now Easton this past weekend.
Right.
They're a strong program. But then again, like we mentioned earlier, it comes down to making excuses and putting things together as you should as a team. And then looking at this weekend, the Musketeers have a equal opponent in Salem. Last year, came down to a controversial last play of the game.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
Not sure how that could have been called any different. I don't know how that could have been called. I wasn't the one on the field.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where either can go either way. And right now, the morale of the Musketeers is going the way. They're not going to come out with victory if they don't start finding a more aggressive tone to their scheme.
So what do you see in the future with the Musketeers when it comes to what's going to happen in the future?
Well, it's just in the future by the end of this month, we're already back to almost 3/4 of the way.
I know. Isn't that crazy? I was just complaining what was it, 6-7 weeks ago, and I'm like, football cannot get here soon enough. And then now we're looking at, we got, basically 3 games left until the season's over. And then you got sectionals. All of us could be done in 4 weeks.
Correct. Yes, he could. And then looking ahead for the Musketeers especially is that in the future they don't do as much often. They need to do some more in-school recruiting.
Yes.
Now I get that the recruiting, like I was a part of the recruiting chain back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
This wasn't my thing, but they need to do some more in-school recruiting, and especially when they have their coaches to teach you there.
Yeah.
In-school recruiting.
Yes.
Do some more things that build team morality, more team character, team bonding. Do some things like that. Get these players to know each other.
Right.
I know a couple on the team, and they don't even know because they don't know a couple of the other freshmen. Freshmen know each other.
Absolutely.
They don't even know some of the freshmen's names.
Yes.
And that's an issue. Everybody should know everybody, and that was a big thing on my sporting programs back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's a big thing nowadays, and that comes with winning.
Yeah.
You have to understand the game before you can understand what winning is, and it's just a big thing for the Musketeers. They don't have that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I'm the same way. Whenever I was in school, I knew all the freshman players. When you grow up in a town the size of ours, in a county size of ours, you know all this stuff. So you want to make sure that you get to know all the players, especially coming all the way up through youth season. Because believe it or not, if you're a freshman in high school, those kids in youth league are just right there. I mean,
Right.
you're talking, just 3 or 4 years down. And when you get to become a senior, guess what? Those kids are going to be freshmen. And they might be in a situation where, like Salem is right now, where they're actually putting freshmen in to be able to fill some of those spots.
Correct.
That cannot be filled by, normally seniors. So, looking at the roster for Pekin, I think that you have, quite a few seniors on the team when they leave. I think that that program needs to continue to build. And if something happens to where that program doesn't build or doesn't needs to start over next year, then I don't see it being as good of a thing as what we have right now.
Correct. I mean, the way they look at the past 5 or 6 years now is that every year they want to start this year off every year winning.
Right.
And they got to understand that building a program does not start with winning. Building a program starts with absolutely getting your head kicked in every week.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. You got to understand that losing comes before winning, and then building a program takes years. It takes one day, it takes one practice, one game. And that's what they want to do every year. They want to build a new program every year and continue and win games consistently, but they haven't built a program around anything they started with, anything they do as a team, they haven't built anything around it in order to find some winning within their program.
So this week's home game for Pekin. So that means Salem's going to go over to the Musketeers and be in the Musketeer house. So that has some winning at home is a little bit easier to do than winning away.
Correct.
And they can be the exact same game. If you're at home, it seems like actually you can pull it off a little bit better than you can when you're away. So I think with what they've got going on over there, if they can beat Salem, that is the county championship. Then everybody's looking for second. Now my hopes are Salem wins and then we beat Salem. So, or West Washington beats Salem. So that way we're all tied.
A three-way tie.
But I don't see that. I would love to actually see the Musketeers actually win this game and actually take the county championship just because they've never done it. I mean, that's been, because I remember when I was in school, I don't remember that Eastern they even had a football program back then. And that was in '94. So them not having a program back then, and then for them to be able to get a program, I know it's 30 years, but still, it's like you remember a lot from your childhood, and that's one thing I really think that with being such a young program, because West Washington's always had football, and so is Salem, and for Pekin to actually have a newer program of the county, that's what I think that we need to bring in and be able to get that county championship for them.
Correct. I only had a program now for I think this is their 19th season, 20th season, and like you mentioned, Salem, West Washington having football their whole history of their school corporation. It brings into the question of why usually the newer programs have struggled more than we've seen for the Musketeers past few years. It's just, then again, 20 years down the road, you got to repeat for success.
Yeah.
We've only had, this is our third head coach in the whole history, or fourth head coach in the whole history of the program in 20 years. Having 4 coaches in 20 years is kind of expansion about what you really would see. I mean, most teams having one coach. I mean, you had Bowser in West Washington for a number of years, and Salem had the same coach for numbers of years, and then Eastern is over every 5-6 years having a different coach, and then that's why they can't build anything. That's sort of over every so often, and they need this kind of championship to kind of put themselves back on top of the pedestal, finding a way around, because these last few games of the season are very winnable for Eastern.
Absolutely.
And if they play their cards right, they could walk out with there's not going to be a 500 season or above 500, but they can walk out with a little bit of integrity left.
Yeah, being at week 7, everyone's going to have people banged up, and hopefully we can actually get through that in the next couple of weeks and bring those kids back. And actually, because I'm looking for a really strong ending to the season for our county, because our county, no one's really wanted to talk to me for the last 3 or 4 weeks because everybody's on a losing streak, and if we get this losing streak over, and we know one thing, somebody in the county this week is going to win.
Right? Yeah. Someone's just got to win.
Exactly.
And it's just a matter of who wants it more.
Exactly.
And it's out of the 3 programs this season, we haven't seen it out of anybody who wants it more.
Right.
I mean, West Washington 2-4 in the season.
Yeah.
Both Salem and Eastern 1-5.
Right.
Having key games that they could win and bring home victories in, this couldn't end the line down in the late stretch. They cannot just bring it home. They cannot finish it off, take care of business when it's dire and it's key moments of the game. They cannot finish up business.
Absolutely.
It's something they got to figure out this weekend, if not of any of them, because this is a county championship on the line. Salem has to walk in here with an understanding that they don't win this game, they had no chance of county championship, and they have to first take care of business at Friday against Eastern and West Washington in order to take that county championship, or at least win one of the games. They're going to be bottom of the bracket.
And that's one thing hard with and I'm going to say this, it's one thing hard for West Washington. The very first game of the season was Eastern.
Right.
And then the last game for West Washington is Salem. But so you really think about it. Okay, Eastern it starts out the season as with a win or a loss for West Washington, and then to go almost to the end of the season. There's a big stretch there, and that's where kids get hurt, and that's where you find out, okay, well, I can go into West Washington, I can win that game. When you go into Salem, it's like, oh, now I've got a bunch of kids hurt. Now what are we going to do?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios and a lot of ways actually to look at this, and I think that I look forward to talking to a winning team next week.
Yeah, that's the goal for everyone. I feel. I mean, it's just like I mentioned in the beginning of this section. It's a win numbers game.
Yeah.
And you gotta play your cards like you did in the beginning of the year. You come out, you win a first game against West Washington, first time in however many years.
Yeah.
And then you lose your next 4 games, and now bring you on to week 7. Well, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we're good to see if we throw off something good.
Right.
You give Coach a water bath at the end of the game, and Gatorade bath at the end of the game because you broke history there.
Yep.
You beat the Senators for the first time in a long time, and then lose your next 4 games. It really put the damper on what you're doing as a program.
Right.
And now you have to walk into your next game against a county rival who is prepared for this kind of situation. They beat Eastern multiple times, even more times than not in this rivalry, and it's nothing new for them. They're prepared to do the exact same thing again. But Eastern's going to walk into it and having no idea what they're going to do if they don't walk in there and say, hey, this is our game, our home turf.
Right.
We're taking care of business tonight.
So looking at the rain last week, with the Corden game, did you notice that it was a hindrance for Eastern, or did you even notice it, or as the players on the field?
It's easily noticeable.
Yeah.
Now it was more noticeable for Eastern than it was Corden.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lack of accountability when it comes to having to know, hey, game got canceled Friday night. We got to wake up extra early tomorrow morning to make sure we're prepared. We had the night off, no practices, nothing, night off. We got to get earlier the next morning and prepare ourselves for a cutthroat matchup against Corden. I'm missing a conference matchup. We have to get there and take accountability for our actions and get into that game and ready to take care of business at noon. A weird kickoff for high school. Never really seen it. High school kickoff at noon. You got to take care of business with Corden. Seems like they did everything right. They went to bed early that night, got there early the next morning, prepared themselves.
Oh, North Harrison. That's
sorry,
North Harrison. That's right. Yeah.
It's sorry, county. It's Harrison County. They're both Harrison County.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
There isn't one.
Nope.
Sorry, yeah, North Harrison. It's like North Harrison. North Harrison did the exact same thing, and North Harrison did the exact same thing, did everything right, woke up, ready to play, and took home a victory of all times at a noon kickoff, which is
Right.
must have to figure something out if they want to get back in the winning column.
Yeah, because I noticed with with the other games you had, it was basically rain, monsoon, and it was hard for a lot of teams actually throw the ball, and I know North Harrison, Eastern, and Salem really aren't much of a throwing team right now. So I'm sure there was a lot of handing off.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was able to ref a game this past few weeks. I'm a selected official for football. Yeah. I do some football games. I was able to see a game on that Saturday afternoon. I was reffing. It was a monsoon up there. I was at Brown County.
Yeah.
It was a running game. It was running all the rest of the night. And it's talking about that and other aspects. The Musketeers, they have a similar package. Most of their playbooks coming off of running.
Right.
They run the ball. And when another team knows it's all you're going to do because it's a monsoon, you can't throw the ball.
Right.
It's easier to shut down.
Yes.
And then there's no adjustments on that side of the ball.
Right.
You got to be able to adjust to that and find the way. I know I'm talking a lot of negativity on the side of the ball, but on that side of the ball from the Musketeers, it's just they got to be able to figure this out a lot sooner than the fourth quarter. That's when they want to start making their runs.
Yes.
And then they're already shut down. Like by 30 points.
Right.
They got to make those runs in the first quarter. They got to play ball from the first quarter. There's 25%, 25% in the first quarter, 25%
That's right.
third and fourth.
Yeah.
You got to do the whole thing, a full quarter, full play of football.
Yeah.
And it's just been a problem.
And we spend a lot of time, looking at it's not about the whole game. It's like, okay, well, did you win that quarter? Let's break it down. Did you win the quarter? Did you win the half? Did you win 3/4 of the game? When you break it down like that, you see if you did win a quarter, what do you do in that quarter versus the rest of them?
Right.
And looking at film and looking at all of that, it's easy to say, okay, well, this is what we should have done. But I know a lot of coaches, when they actually look at the film, they're going, okay, this is what we're going to do next time, or this is what we did really well here. Let's run this again.
Right.
So yeah, I know exactly what you're saying here. So, but we've got a heck of a week coming up, and I'm glad I'm not over there this week because I'm not going to have to call a game. That's going to be all you and Brandon and Zach but it's going to be an absolute fun game to watch. I really do believe that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. It was competitive last season.
Mm-hmm.
We all didn't see that coming, but it was competitive last season. And now we have a different matchup. We have new players in every touched football before on the Eastern team. Salem tossing in freshmen in their lineup that I have not seen in the field before in a varsity football game. Now having to do so in the spur of the moment. It's just something they have to do at a certain time, and it's going to be a great game to see this Friday. And I'm excited. It should be perfect weather, mid-60s, maybe low 70s, and it's just perfect fall weather in October. The first weekend in October, it's time to see some football, time to see some turnaround.
Yeah, just like I just brought up the weather here. It's supposed to be a high of 76 and a low of 56 on Friday. So it's supposed to be sunny, beautiful, no clouds. So everybody needs to get out there and watch some football this weekend, and come out and see the Salem and Eastern game because it's going to be an absolute great game. So, but hey, buddy, I really appreciate you coming in and talking to me tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
You're what I got. You are my Eastern guy.
Yeah, hey, no problem. I enjoy talking about it. It's something to do on a Wednesday night. There's no football on.
Yeah, I know. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I wish I could do this Tuesday night too, because Tuesdays suck. But
right.
When I try to talk to Tara enough about football, she said I've had enough, and because I've gone Saturday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and and Monday, and then on Tuesday she goes, I don't want to talk about football, and she actually helped me last week on the radio. So yeah, she did, and I thought she did a great job. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this game is going to be like on Friday. So
I am too. It's going to be an interesting one. That I'm not sure what the spread is yet. I'm sure John Harrell has one out there, but the spread, I'm sure it's going to be close. They're evenly matched.
Yeah.
Both teams are struggling. Each are eager for a win, and it's got to be able to find one. And it's going to be cut for the whole game. I got to think.
Yeah. There's injuries on both sides of the ball. Coach Gleason said he's going to get a few of them back. I don't know which few of those are, but I don't really see that being much of an issue with this game.
Yeah.
We're going to bring what we got, and you're going to bring what you got, and it's going to be a game. That's what it's going to be.
Yep, it's just winning each quarter and putting a full game together. It's a new beginning each quarter.
Yep,
you start off 0-0 each quarter, and that's you go from there, and you win each quarter. You win a full football game.
All right. Hey, buddy. I appreciate you coming in, and
no
I'll tell you what, we're going to take just a couple commercial breaks. We'll be right back.
The fields of green have turned to gold, and drivers are sharing the road with Indiana farmers as they work to harvest their crops. That's why Hoosier Ag Today, the Indiana State Department of Agriculture, and Keystone Cooperative are reminding motorists to be patient with large, slow-moving farm equipment and vehicles. Do your part and make safety a priority. Take precautions. Be alert, slow, and focused. Let's all get home safely this harvest season. A message from Hoosier Ag Today, ISDA, and Keystone Cooperative.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance, but not just any insurance. We're good at...
No.
Did you forget the parking brake? Yes, you forgot the parking brake. Insurance. When the forecast calls for cheese balls, I tail insurance. Even shouldn't have parked under that tree. Insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
All right, and we are back, and we are live right here at McDonald's. And hey, guess what, everybody? The ice cream machine's working! That's right, the ice cream machine, the cookie machine. They got the oven on. They're making cookies and ice cream. I can tell you what, you need to stop by here and get some cookies and get some ice cream, put them together, and make something different. So, but yeah, we're back, and I just wanted to kind of reiterate what we've got going on this week, especially with the with West Washington, because unfortunately, West Washington group, they're actually going to be they're going down to they're playing the youth championship tonight, and so I wasn't able to steal any of the coaches away because again, all those coaches actually go to the youth football, so which I think is a great thing to keep that program going, keep that program. You know, you keep when all the coaches go to a program like that, and all those kids see those coaches out there, and they go on Friday night and they see those coaches on the field. It means a lot to those kids to know that, hey, they're here for me just as much as they're here for the youth. So, but let's get into what happened last week at North Davies. First of all, it was an absolute haul to drive over there. We went from here to there, which is about 72 miles, I believe it is, and took about an hour and a half. Kids got off the bus. They were all ready to play. They came out on the field. It started out, no rain. Field was wet, but it wasn't too bad. And then game started. Thought we were actually doing a pretty good job actually driving the ball down the field, and then just kind of things just kind of fell apart, just from the standpoint of knowing that their quarterback, number 4 of their team, he ran the ball 90% of the time, and ran the same play 90% of the time. We just could not stop it, and I know why they ran the play 90% of the time, because if you're not going to stop that play, I'm going to run it too. So, ended up being 14-0, and I think that knowing that the score really did not match the ability of the kids. And I've said that about the Salem games too, and some of the Eastern games. Just because you lose a game does not mean that the score actually represents what how good or how bad the team did. It ended up being 14-6. We did scored 1 touchdown. I tried to go in for a 2-point conversion, just could not get it done. About quarter way through the game, we had the hurricane, hit with full force, and at least full force for North Davies, and rain was coming down. The wind was absolutely just insane, and still got some balls off. Still got quite a bit of passing done. Then one of the big things is that I did notice is, and I even talked to the refs before the game. I said, hey, I just let you know, boys. I'm going to talk about you, and I'm going to make fun of you because that's what I do. I'm just going to put it out there. And the ref actually looked at me and he goes, we're going to give you a lot to talk about tonight. And I can tell you, they sure did, because they didn't call hardly anything. There was lots of plays that pass interference there they didn't call. There was, roughing the passer. There was, they were just, they were rough. I mean, they were doing things after the play. They wouldn't throw it. There was one time on offense I saw at least 3 players jump, and the ref was looking at the dead birds flying in the sky, and there was no penalties whatsoever when it come to our way. And and normally I would normally say if it was fair on both sides, but these refs were definitely not for us whatsoever. So came to halftime, watched the monsoon come down, and then right before halftime was over, it stopped, rain stopped, wind stopped. Senators come back out on the field, or Davis come back on the field, and it was the same thing. It was quarterback to the C gap, quarterback to B gap, B gap, C gap. It was just over and over and over again, and a lot of holding on North Davies, and I'd love to have that game back to where we actually did not had a different set of officials, and I do believe it probably would have been a different outcome, but. You can't fight the officials. I have learned that when it comes to the officials and it comes to what they do, what their word is on the field, you're not going to change their mind. You're just going to have to eat it and live with it, and that's going to be it. And then after the game's over, you can talk bad about them, really bad about them if you want to, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to talk really bad. I was talking bad about them during the game as well. We had probably one of the worst officials groups that I've seen in a long time, and I would say the only time I've ever seen one worse is when my oldest son was playing for Salem. We would go to Corden, and Corden had the worst group I've ever seen in my life that was actually officiating those games. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say if you are a fan of football and you would like to actually be an official and you want to be at fair, go take the classes, become an official, because they're really they get paid pretty well. They get to see a football game on Friday night. They get paid to watch a football game, and they get to call it the way they want to call it. So and they get paid pretty well. So go out, get your license, and ISHA would love to have you as official. So let's talk about what's coming up for West Washington this week. West Washington has Perry Central at home. We are going to be over at West Washington Stadium. So come on out and take a gander at this. And we've noticed that last year I do believe that we went down to Perry Central, and Perry Central actually gave us a whooping, and I know that the Senators are ready to change that this year. So we're going to bring him up here this time and show him what we can actually give him up here. So like I said, the weather's supposed to be amazing. It's sweatshirt season, so make sure you come out with your sweatshirts on, your blankets, and get ready to watch a football game. And it's going to be a little bit chilly. Perfect time to watch football and get with everybody. So that's about all I got for tonight, everybody. So we're going to end the show a little bit early tonight because I don't want to have anybody here from West Washington, and I'm sure y'all really want to hear me talk for the next 15 minutes. So, but I can tell you this: I'm probably going to go over here and get some ice cream. Yeah, I'm going to get some ice cream, maybe even a cookie. And you should do the same thing. You should get over here and get you some ice cream and get you a cookie from McDonald's over here in Salem. So, everybody, enjoy your weekend. We've got 2 more days until Friday night under the lights, and get out there and enjoy some high school football. And if you're not able to go to one of these county games, if you're listening to me from someplace else, hey, get out there and go to those high school games and support those kids, because you're not doing it for me. I want you to support the kids, because that's what you're doing it for, because those kids really put a lot of work, a lot of effort into watching or to playing these games, and that's what they need. So get out there and enjoy it. And as always, God bless. Enjoy some football, and we will talk to you on next week.